Thank you for staying with us. Now, ANC stalwart Cheryl Carolus says those implicated and convicted for state capture must face the music. In part 2 of a sit-down interview, an exclusive interview that is, Carolus says that the report highlights the extent of the rot in state-owned entities. She sat down with my colleague Heidi Jokos.
How important do you think it is for the powers that be today to look at these reports and actually take action and prosecute? Because what stops people from doing this again? You know, what stops them from capturing our state-owned entities and further hollowing them out?
Heidi, I do think that I have a lot of sympathy that these crooks and criminals are still walking around. And in fact, many of them appointed to key positions still. Like I see this man from Bain has just been appointed to head up some well-paid job in Italy. So I mean, it irritates me unspeakably. But I think we have to accept that there is a rule of law. The good thing about living in a country like ours is there is still a rule of law, albeit under attack at the moment. But it does mean that due process has to be followed. And so in our impatience, I think we need to accept that maybe there is some plan about bringing this different Nugent report, the Zondo Commission report together. But I also share your impatience. I think that it's now time for some action. You know, so it's like with the Truth Commission. We couldn't really get everything about everybody. But what I expect from the Truth Commission now, from the findings, is that there should certainly be action against those who were implicated unlawfully and who in fact have violated the laws in terms of which the Truth Commission operated. For example, those who did kill people, but who didn't go to the Truth Commission, but there's now incontrovertible evidence that they were involved in killing people. And the deal with the Truth Commission was if you didn't go to the Truth Commission, told the full truth, and in fact asked for forgiveness from the families and the survivors, well, they haven't done that. So I think they should be prosecuted. Similarly, with these various findings that we've had now, I really do think that, like with the Truth Commission, as incomplete as the information might be at this stage, the country has just been battered so much. It has not only have they stolen from us, they've tried to steal our history, and they've stolen our souls. They've just worn us down. I know, I think most South Africans, every time you see a new revelation, we still see it today, by the way, because many of these people are still there and still active. I mean, the way in which they still behave with impunity. And I think that culture of impunity must stop, and the only way we're going to stop it is if action is taken against these people. And I think we need to start at the top. Not with junior civil servants. I would like to see that people in senior leadership, whether it is in government, whether it's in political parties, and by the way, the ANC is not the only party implicated in this. I think that the rot that has set into our country and what these people have done is there's just a tone in our country that I find unacceptable, that permeates life in the public and the private sector, that we as South Africans are going to have to work to hold these people accountable for, from our president right down to people who work for the Metro Police or in the council offices. They can't be allowed to get away with corruption in a way that they do, but they do up to now because there's clearly no accountability. And that's why I think we must start at the top.
Do you think Cyril Ramaphosa should be doing more? Do you think he can do more? Do you think he has space to do more?
Well, I certainly hope that the president will do that. The president is in an organization that we know the difficulty with which he was elected, the numbers and all of that. And unfortunately, I say it's my organization too. I'm still very proudly a member of the ANC because I do not believe that what these people got up to is anything what the organization stands for, nor do I think they speak for the vast majority of members. But I'm also part of a group of people in the ANC who have consistently spoken up and called people out when it was necessary to do so. And that's what we have to do, because we cannot let the public think that we are accepting of this kind of behavior, especially of our senior leaders. I think that people in the National Executive Committee, people in the Cabinet, who holds the highest levels of trust from us as ANC members and from us as voters in South Africa, I think we have to stand up much more and demand accountability. So President Ramaphosa is only as strong as what his National Executive Committee is going to be with him. And that's why I do want to make a strong call to my comrades in the National Executive Committee to take a stand for South Africa and stop this nonsense, that in fact taking a stand for the country is taking a stand for the ANC. Because people often think we will harm the ANC if we speak out, if we criticize. That is complete nonsense. We actually need to, for the sake of our country, in fact, cleanse our own organization.
I want to ask you, when you took the decision to leave SAA, do you have any regrets? Do you wish that you stayed to put up a good fight, or do you think that you did enough and it was time to leave?
No, Heidi, we had no option. At that point, the president of this country was then Jacob Zuma, and his cabinet were all clearly aiding and abetting because of the appointments that Jacob Zuma made. He made sure he appointed people. You look at, he appointed Malusi Gigaba into state-owned enterprises, into finance, and when you follow the trail, there was clearly a very calculated plan here. So even ministers he appointed were set up to stop anybody who tried to put a spanner in the works of what the Guptas and other small-time crooks were up to. And so there was nothing we could, we were not going to be able to do anything. So staying would have been aiding and abetting that. So I have absolutely no regrets. I think it was the right thing to do at the time. And it's unfortunate that, in fact, what we've seen is an airline that was starting to find its feet, that was starting to be profitable in a very difficult setup, because the airline industry, what a lot of people don't understand, is that it's actually, the margins are quite tight. And for a country who's situated at the end of the hemisphere, it's such a critical part of a vibrant economy is having a functional airline for the movement of people, goods and services, you know, if you want to be a global player economically. And I still find it, I'm not sure whether shocking is the word or infuriating, that people who had come with me in the struggle, and with many other people, Mandela, Albertina Sisulu, Helen Joseph, Oliver Tambo, Chief Luthuli, Lillian Ngoyi, on the shoulders of those people, they trampled over them to steal and to help others to steal. I mean, as I say, I'm astounded. It's just unimaginable for me that anybody who comes from that background could even think of doing this, let alone do it. And then now still behave like thugs in trying to intimidate people. You look at the nonsense of what Jacob Zuma is putting the courts through. I mean, he keeps on appealing and doing this and doing that. I mean, it's just shameful, I suppose. I mean, but we shouldn't allow it to continue. This country is a great country. It's got a great future. We're beginning to see, under President Ramaphosa, we're beginning to see green shoots. We're beginning to see confidence in our economy. We can't waste that. And that is my appeal to President Ramaphosa and to the cabinet, to the good women and men in the cabinet and in the ANC National Executive Committee. We're beginning to see the green shoots of what is possible when we reclaim our country. If we don't act fast around the findings of the Zondo Commission and all those others, Nugent and so on, we would not only have wasted an opportunity, but we would actually become complicit along with these crooks through our inaction. If we do nothing, those with the authority, like the ANC, NEC, the Integrity Committee and all of that, if they don't act against some of these people, if the cabinet doesn't invoke and the law authorities don't invoke what they can and should invoke, I would say they're going to make themselves complicit by allowing these people to carry on for the next few decades.